Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'd do a little something to do with more blog related things. I obviously blog kind of more full time than I do YouTube. I'm definitely still a novice when it comes to YouTube. But one thing that I do get asked quite a lot are kind of tips of starting a blog, kind of starting off, how to get over the initial kind of scariness of starting a blog. So I thought I'd do a little video with my top tips on how to start a blog and how to kind of overcome the fear. So yeah, without further ado, here are my top tips on starting a blog. Tip number one is probably find your platform. Obviously with this I do kind of mean you could be on Blogger or WordPress or something kind of a bit more informal like Tumblr. They all have totally different qualities that make them all kind of, they're very like themselves. WordPress, if you're great with HTML and coding, it gives you a lot more freedom with design and things like that. But I personally love Blogger as a good starting point. Really easy to use, easy to customize like templates and things, and not too intimidating. But I guess it is what you're used to. But saying that, I do think that, you know, you can blog through things like Instagram. My friend Caroline, who has an amazing Instagram account, which I'll link below, literally blogs just through her Instagram account where she kind of documents each day in a really beautiful kind of story-like way. So you could even kind of blog through a platform such as Instagram, or just work out what works best for you, because everyone's blogging experience is totally different, and just play around with things. I've got a Tumblr which I don't use because I'm useless at, but I know people that are ace at it. So definitely, you know, dip your toes into all the different things. Second thing I would recommend is finding out what it is that you like writing about. When I started my blog, a lot of people told me that I needed to do it for my, to develop my tone of voice. I was interning at the time, and someone was like, it'd be great to kind of practice writing like music reviews because that's what I like doing. And from doing that, I really developed my tone of voice, and I'd worked out that I did like talking about music, but I was far better and more confident talking about things like fashion. So I really kind of developed things from there. But I really think that it's really important to kind of work out what it is you like talking about, whether that's cooking or gardening or, I don't know, model planes or anything completely random. Like, there will always be an audience that will be able to track you down and want to follow what you're doing. So I think literally go with what you like talking about. If you're not into fitness or wellness, don't feel you need to do it because it's like fashionable or cool. The same goes with everything. Like, if you really are into that, jump on it because it's your passion, it's what you like. So definitely kind of dabble in a lot of things. There will be things that you'll find easier to write about than others, but just have a little go at everything. If you look back at the beginning of my blog, you will see there are a lot of archives of stuff that didn't quite make the final cut. So yeah, if you want a good giggle and just to see that I wasn't always kind of confident with words and posing, which still needs a bit of work, definitely go back and just have a little look because everyone started somewhere. My next big tip would be not to compare yourself. I think even if you're an established blogger, you definitely will kind of struggle with this a little bit, but I think it's really important to kind of look at what other people are doing to an extent, like see the things you really like and what work for other people. Say you might like how someone does the travel guide, and then you take the bits that you like without copying and incorporate it into your own style. So try not to think, oh, they're doing that, why am I not doing that? But instead look around and see what people are doing, what works really well, and kind of put your own spin on it. Because I think having tunnel vision to an extent is really useful and productive, like not concerning yourself too much with other people. Especially when you start off, like when I started my blog, I did not look at anyone else. I was very much in my own little world with my phone, camera quality pictures, and I loved it. And I think now that there are so many people, it's an amazing thing because you're looking around, there's so much inspiration, but it's also quite daunting. So try not to become scared by other people and instead use it as a really productive tool to kind of incorporate the best of others into what you're doing. Another tip would be, if you can, try and network a little bit. I remember when I started, I loved using Twitter, and I still love using Twitter. I remember tweeting my favourite bloggers, like trying to start conversations and commenting on blog posts. I know now that's a lot more rare per se, like not a lot of people comment on posts anymore, it's a lot more instant, especially on Instagram, but I think it's still a really important way of building up a little community of people like-minded to you and just trying to reach out to other people doing similar things, because I think networking and talking to people and just building those friendships and relationships is a really great way of bringing yourself up and kind of just feeling more confident in what you're doing. If you know that people are reading and you know those people, they're more likely to say, hey, great post. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I know it's scary and I know sometimes you feel like no one's listening, but I think honestly, just give it a go, run with it, and you will definitely be surprised. Again, similar to my last point, don't be scared of blogging. Don't be scared of what's going on, because I think there can be a lot of pressure and you will see a lot of guides that have to start a blog, you have to blog 5 times a week, you have to be frequent. Like, it's great if you can be regular with things and you can give people something to expect, but don't feel too much pressure, because I think everyone's blogging experience is totally different. I speak to some people and they're like, I post once a week and people love coming back to that, and some people post daily and that works well for them. But I think just find out what works for you and what you enjoy, because I think the sole purpose of it is enjoyment, and if you're not enjoying it or it feels like a chore, then it's best to almost take a step back and think, hang on, what would I rather be doing? Like, could I document this in a more fun way? Like, I could do a photo journal and literally just blog photos of my experiences. Like, it doesn't just have to be word-based, it can be literally anything that you enjoy. So try to not feel too much pressure to do things a certain way, because it does not matter. So once you get started, one of my biggest tips is practice. Like, practice makes perfect with anything. Like, it's not homework or a school activity, but I think if you're really determined in kind of improving something, practice. That's one thing I'm kind of struggling with YouTube. I'm always looking at other people's videos thinking, they're amazing, they look like documentaries, and I'm like, well, if I put more practice into this, perhaps that's what I could achieve. So I think it's very much like, the more you do something, the better you will be. And it really hugely applies to something like blogging, because when I started, I was just like, oh hi, this is a nice dress that I'm wearing. Where now I can tell more of a story, I can make it more interesting. And it literally just comes down to just keeping at it. So I really think, don't be disheartened if you don't start and you're completely happy with things. You can only get better or improve on something if you start somewhere. So I really truly believe that too. One of my last tips would probably be just to get inspired, which, you know, sounds a bit Pinteresty. It sounds a bit like, just go out there, see the world. But honestly, sitting on Pinterest, getting a blog loving account and following loads of blogs is one of my best ways of feeling inspired when I'm just not feeling it. I will sit on blog loving, I will scroll down my huge list, I will look at posts, write down good ideas of like post ideas that I've seen other people do, because everyone's like experience is different. Everyone's got a different thing to say. So if someone posts about their 10 best lipsticks, mine will be different to theirs. So look at what other people are doing, get inspired, look at Pinterest for image ideas. That's what I do for photography. I literally sit on Pinterest, have a huge board with ideas of like angles and colours. Just get inspired like that. That's what Pinterest is for. It's such an amazing resource. Not sponsored by Pinterest. But just honestly sit around, read magazines, like flick through, look at cool editorials, look at articles you've read which might trigger a cool response. That's one of my earliest posts I did about not drinking, was triggered by like an article I read in company magazines. Just honestly immerse yourself in as much as you can, because I promise you it will definitely help in the long term. So there you have it. They are my top kind of handful of tips to kind of get you started with writing a blog. If anyone wants to know anything else, please comment below, and I will definitely get back to you with any more advice I have if you want to know anything. I'm definitely not a guru when it comes to blogging or an expert, but anything you have or want to ask, please do go ahead. Additionally, if you like this, let me know and I can do more kind of tips and tricks with blogging. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you next time.